Okay, good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but it's actually afternoon now. Welcome to Launchpad 2021 and to the talk on supporting students with disabilities. You're all very welcome. So you are, my name is Bridget Gormley. I'm a disability student advisor here at Maynooth University, and helping me there was Ryan Lynch, who you might know from Launchpad, who will also speak to us at the end of this presentation as well about his experience using disability supports. So you're all very welcome. We have the live captioning on to assist any students that would like to follow along in that mode. And at the end, we'll use the chat box for questions. It seemed to work quite well in the first time that we did it. So welcome to this talk, and I'll get started. So congratulations, first of all, on getting your place at Maynooth. You're very welcome, and we're really thrilled to have you with us to start your educational journey. At this point, you're here to look about supports that you can get as a student with disabilities. So from this here, you can see in the 2020 year, the students that are registered with the Disability Office, we support 14 disability categories. So you can see there from specific learning difficulty, dyslexia, mental health conditions, significant ongoing illnesses, autistic spectrum disorder, blind students, students who are deaf, students with visual impairment, students who are hard of hearing, dyspraxia or DCD, neurological conditions, physical conditions, ADD, ADHD. So there's a wide variety of conditions that we support through the Disability Office, and we're really proud to have over 1,000 students with disabilities with the MAP, with the Maynooth Access Program Shared Advisory Service. And last year, we would have made up 6.5% of the MU population. Where Maynooth is very proud to have such a diverse student body, and students with disabilities really add to the richness of Maynooth University, and we're delighted to have such a high percentage, and we're always a national leader for that. 19% of our students also disclose additional conditions. So for some students, you may have a mental health condition, but you may also have a visual impairment or low vision. So for some students, 20% of our students, they come with multiple disability categories. So here's beautiful Maynooth, and we're thrilled, hopefully, in the 21-22 academic year. It looks like we'll be able to come together as a community on campus, staff and students together, following the COVID protocols as they come out over the coming days and weeks. So this is our beautiful computer science building, the building on North Campus. So we look forward to welcoming you to campus. For some of you, how did you get to Maynooth? The pathways to Maynooth University. So some of you came through your CAO, and whenever you filled in the CAO application, you ticked the disability box. Some of you came through the CAO and you were DARE eligible, the Disability Access Route to Education. Some of you came through the CAO and you were DARE and HERE eligible. Some of you came through the CAO and you're a mature student. Some of you came through the CAO and you came through your QQI or FETAC qualification. Some of you are postgraduate students, and some of you are international students. So we're really delighted to have you. Whatever pathway you came to us, that's fine. The most important thing to remember is all students, once they come to Maynooth, have access to disability supports. And students can apply to MAP for disability supports at any point in their journey. So for some students, they may develop a disability while they're with us, and they'll be able to get disability supports during their educational journey. So we welcome students at any point during that journey. So your first steps at Maynooth University, so you've accepted your offers, so you've accepted your place here at Maynooth University. You're doing step 2 today and tomorrow, which is Launchpad orientation. So I know the MAP ambassadors have been working really hard over the summer to make it a really vibrant and fun and enjoyable and informative experience to get to know about Maynooth University, to get to know about the Maynooth Access Program and the supports that we offer. across the board. So welcome to Launchpad. And I always say to Ryan and all of the MAP ambassadors every year, I threaten to get a babysitter so that I can join in on the fun, because it always is such a good time and a really important resource for you as you begin your educational journey is the MAP Access Society, if you want to join that, and the MAP ambassadors. They're a wonderful resource. So you're doing the Launchpad orientation at the moment. You will have received to the email address you used for your CAO application. You would have received an email from the Access Office, and in that email would have been information about registering for Launchpad. But for those who have indicated a disability, you would have also received an email about filling in the application form for disability supports. So you fill in that form there, you upload your evidence of disability, and in time, a student advisor will be in touch with you via email to set up a needs assessment, which is the next green circle there. And at that needs assessment, I'll talk in a minute, and then we coordinate your supports from there. So what is a needs assessment? So you'll have a one-to-one meeting with a student advisor who will look at disability supports. That meeting may be in person on campus, or it can be via Teams, an online meeting like what we're doing currently. You will meet one-to-one with that advisor, that student advisor, to look at the impact of disability. So how does your disability manifest and affect you? We'll look at your previous supports. So what supports would you have had in school or at home? Some students might have a visiting teacher or may have healthcare professionals come into their homes and things like that. Your educational experience. For those who just did the Leaving Cert this year and the previous year, due to COVID, has been an unusual circumstance. So we'll talk to you about that educational experience and how, and what supports you had at if you went to secondary school or a QQI college. The demands of the course. So there's differences between science students and art students, students that have a placement element. We'll look at the course and we'll be able to work with you to see, how that course will work out throughout the year. And we'll anticipate challenges and we'll look at those challenges and we'll suggest possible solutions for you to be able to overcome those challenges as well as you begin your studies. And from the needs assessment then goes out. So we have learning support, library supports. We have a fantastic library there on the South Campus, just as you cross over the Kilcock Road. So there's lots of supports there. There's extended loans in the library. There's access to a MAP advisor, which I'll talk about in a second within the library. If you need assistance to get books off of shelves, we have all of those sorts of things as well too. I'll talk about technology in a second. Exam supports. So for those who did the Leaving Cert, you may have applied to the Reasonable Accommodation Commission of Education, the RACE Commission, to look at any possible Leaving Cert exam accommodations. Coming into the university during the needs assessment process, we'll talk to you about what exam accommodations you may have had for the Leaving Cert. We have our own university exam policy, and we take a look at your documentation and your experience, and we decide based on that policy what exam accommodations and exam supports you should receive for your end of semester, which are January, May, and if you need to repeat in August. We have learning support, we have Student Central, we have master classes in different things like note-taking and organization, things like that. And then we have referrals to university supports, which I'll talk to you in a minute about. The piece about technology is something that I'm very passionate about. Every year, it just continues to amaze me how technology really levels the playing field for students with disabilities. It assists you to be able to engage in the curriculum, to engage in your coursework, to be able to take better notes, to be able to get your thoughts down through essays, to reference, to organize, all of those pieces of technology. And you'll hear a lot about the technology transition program and a lot about how technology can assist students with disabilities. So the supports for students with disabilities, your contact, there's the MAP shared advisory service. So your student advisor is available to you. Something else called the MAP academic advisors, which I'll talk about in a second in the next slide. There's the learning support. So Student Central is there for students with certain disabilities such as autistic spectrum disorder, mental health, attention deficit disorders, and dyspraxia. And it's an opportunity to meet one-on-one with an assistant psychologist to look at how you can develop those independent learning skills. Exam supports I've mentioned already. There's additional academic tuition. So for some of our students, they may be undergoing different kinds of treatments and hospitalization. While you're being hospitalized, you will come back during the semester. And when you come back from your hospitalization, in conjunction with your academic department, we can look at putting in place some additional academic tuition to assist you to catch up with the things you've missed while you were hospitalized. Some students will require personal assistance. So if you're if you have a personal assistant, that is done through ServiSource. The library has library information, skills, and training, which is fantastic, and the library supports that I've mentioned previously. The technology transition program, you'll hear a lot about that. So make sure that you sign yourself in, you go to the different workshops to see how technology can help you. If you have a very high need, so some of our students who are blind and low vision, or deaf, hard of hearing, or physical disabilities, they may be referred for an assistive technology assessment with Ruchi, and that's looking at specific pieces of technology and software that could help you. There's equipment loans, so if you need a piece of equipment or software, we will get that for you and get it loaned out to you. For you who filled in the online the application for disability supports, one of the consents you had to give was for the MAP Moodle area. If you consented to that, in the coming weeks, you'll be included in that space, and it's just a great area. Staff put up tips and ideas about how to study better. If there's a research project that maybe someone's looking for some students to participate in, it's really a wonderful area within Moodle to get information as well. Within the university, there's critical skills, which some people may decide to take in first year. There's program advisory and academic advisory when you have questions about your academic options going forward. The Math Support Center, very important support. The Academic Writing Center as well. And of course, the fabulous clubs and societies, those things that make the university so fun. Maynooth University really has a very, very diverse list and selection of clubs and societies. So make sure you get involved in those as well. I really have to take my hat off to the clubs and societies last year when we were fully online and remote last year. They really worked very hard to make students feel connected together. In particular, the MAP Access Society, they really did a fabulous job, and all the societies did in the sports to try to get people in a remote environment. So as we're coming, as the COVID regulations and guidelines are changing, I know that the clubs and societies are excited to get back together in person. So I talked a little bit about these. You have the Math Center, the library, the Academic Writing Center. Academic Writing Center assists students from first year and undergrad all the way through PhD. So please make sure that you are in touch with them. The MAP Academic Advisor is a real flagship program that we have here at Maynooth. So what that is every academic department has somebody who is associated with MAP. It's an academic staff member. So if you're struggling with your coursework and you want to speak to somebody who about your course and the subjects that you're studying and the areas that are coming up, you can make an appointment to meet with the MAP Academic Advisor. And the MAP Academic Advisor also is a way for if an academic is in a classroom and they want to get some advice on disability, they can also come through that as well too. So it's really a great program. This Maynooth University has the Student Budget Service Advice Service. So the Student Budgeting Advice Service is a fantastic thing that will help you to look about making a student's assistance fund application. So if you're struggling financially or you're having difficulties, please make sure that you link in with the Money Matters with the university's Student Budgeting Advice Service, and Student Central I mentioned there previously as well. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to pass it on to Ryan there for a moment to talk about his experience using the disability supports.
There we go. Absolutely. So hey everyone. So a little bit.
Sorry, Ryan. You know what? Sorry, Ryan. I'll take this down so you can put up something for live captioning.
Perfect.
Is that okay? So I'll come out of here. Okay.
Let's use the same one as earlier.
That is perfect. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Window. PowerPoint. And will you let me know when the captions come up there?
Yes, the captions are there, Ryan.
Brilliant, thank you. So hey everyone, you can ignore this slide. It's just so that I can have something up that has live captions on it too. So a little bit about me. So obviously my name is Ryan Lynch. I'm going into my final year of computer science and software engineering now. Just if you're curious, I came through both here and there with the CAO out of that list of options that people could have came through. So my disability, obviously none of you, by the way, ever have to disclose your disability to anyone, bar your advisor, but I'm just willing to share, just to make that clear. I had someone to come to me after the last talk and ask if everybody has to talk about it. I volunteer for this. So I'm blind in one eye. I came into college when I wasn't able to read or write, and I have a pain condition that runs through my right side, which affects my mobility. So that's just for context of where I'm going from here. So I'm going to talk to you about just kind of when I came into college and what that was like for me. Obviously, I was I had a lot of things that I needed to deal with when I came in. So when I was kind of coming into college, all of it was very new to me. My disability was recent, so I didn't think that it was going to be the place for me. So I got my offer by pure luck. I got the points for my course. I was not expecting it whatsoever, but I didn't think I was suited to college because of my disability, and I was disappointed. Excuse me, sorry. I was very disappointed about that, but I just didn't think it was worth pushing myself to that extreme of like doing such hard work in an environment after fighting for supports in school. I just didn't want to keep that up. But then I got an email from my disability advisor, who was Jer at the time, and it was just, can you come in and have a meeting one of the days that you're free, and we just want to chat about college. And I said, sure, I'll come in. And I was kind of going in with the intention of saying, listen, I appreciate it, but I'm actually not going to take my place. But thanks anyway. And then I went in, and Jerry was like, oh, okay, that's all right. But just in case you end up changing your mind, just to in that possibility, can we just talk about what is available? And I said, okay, you know what, I'm here anyway. We'll just have a chat about it. And I kind of just kept throwing these problems of like, I can't read, I can't write, I'm struggling to walk. I don't know if I could get a bus because I was on crutches at the time, full time. And every single thing that I threw a problem at Jer for, he was like, yeah, but that's okay, because you know we have this support available, or you know we could arrange this. And like every single thing I came up with, it was a case of, yeah, but there is a solution here. And I was still a little iffy about coming to college because I thought it was a big commitment. He says to me, you know that you can drop out without being charged fees up until like late October. How about you come in for the first week of college with these supports? We see how it goes. And I'm going to book in a meeting with you. We come back and we'll see how it's working. So I had an audio note taker. Like Bridget said, the technology here is amazing. So I used audio note taker to record my lectures, and I used read and write to read my lecture materials because my reading and writing was very, very poor when I came in. I was only just learning how to do it. And so I used them and a couple of other small pieces. And I came back after the first week of college to Jer and said, okay, it was a lot better of experience than I expected it to be, but I'm still having a few little issues here and there. And he said, perfect, let's fix them this way. And he said, if I do this, can you do 2 more weeks for me, and we'll have another meeting to see how this goes. And he did that, and then we had a month, and then we had 2 months, and then he said, just finish the semester, and we'll have another meeting, let's chat this out. And so every time that I had something, I was like, I think this is going to be an issue. He was like, perfect, let's talk about it. What could we do to make that less of an issue? And it was the most amazing experience because I really wanted to be in college. I really enjoy my area. I do computer science, obviously, as you can tell from the site and everything, and I really love it. But my disability very much got in the way of that before, and in college or in school I was always fighting to get a support or to get reasonable accommodation. And I came into college and it was a case of, you have a problem, what can we do to help? And so it was a really strange environment to come into, and I've seen everybody else coming in through the same office. We kind of get to know each other pretty well. I've all said the same thing, like they're so used to fighting it, they come in tired from college of tired from school for fighting from supports, and then you come into college and it's like, here's a selection of stuff, let's figure out what's going to suit you best. And it was just the most amazing experience. And over the last 3 years, like I know Jerry really well, we worked on so much stuff together, and I think what suited me so well was that environment of let's chat about how things are going. Let's just keep up to date. Even if you don't have an issue, we're going to meet semi-regularly. So like if something starts to look like it could become an issue down the line, we have it in our heads already. We're already thinking about it, or we think, oh, that one could be a big issue. We'll start addressing it before it becomes one. I'd highly recommend taking that approach with the office. Like this isn't like Bridget telling me, Ryan, go in, say all of this. This is a case of we asked for when we were organizing Launchpad, it was like, let's get a staff member and a student in and just get them both to talk. So this isn't like me saying you need to go to the access office. They're the greatest thing because they told me to. This is me saying it because that was my actual experience of coming to college. I was so lucky to get all of these supports, and that's why I come back to do this, to encourage people to take full advantage of them, because I would not have made it nearly this far. Like I struggled really hard there in the online environment in third year. And if it wasn't for my disability advisor, I wouldn't be going into final year now. And I'm going in with a really solid grade because I was actually able to perform on the same level as my classmates, which I was so lucky to have. So I'd highly recommend just like reaching out, filling out the forms, meet with your advisor, and just talk to them about your concerns, about what you think you might be struggling with, and then keep in touch that way, and just give it a shot. And that's everything for me. I think I ran quite a bit over what I was supposed to. So sorry about that, Bridget.
No problem at all. No problem at all there, Ryan. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, I can see it coming up there. Perfect. And we're incredibly proud of Ryan and how well he's done on his journey. And I always say every time I see him, he seems to get taller. So he does. And I don't know if it's me getting shorter, but I just say to you, from Ryan's experience, just make sure that, you don't, if something's not going your way, come in and see us. We have student advisors who want to meet you. I'm one of them. And a lot of the times when you come into student advisor, we're pointing you in directions for the multiple supports that the university puts in place for you. So don't be out there wondering how can I tackle this. You're not in this alone. We can put you in place through the student advisory service within MAP. So thank you, Ryan, for your time. I really do appreciate that. I wanted to go back here and sorry, 1 second now. Hold on. Sharing this. Is that okay, guys? I hit J.
That's sharing now, and yeah, captions are on.
My captions are on. Fantastic, great stuff. So that was Ryan we just heard from. And for any of the presentations that you've been to, you might have seen this slide about the 1916 bursary. Please be sure, if you feel that you might qualify or you're eligible for this bursary, please make sure that you follow that website page that's there. And if your household reckonable income is underneath 24,500, if you belong to one of the target groups there, and if you're a first-time applicant to full-time or part-time higher ed, please make sure, and the deadlines there are very tight, so make sure you do that. The laptop loan scheme. So last year when COVID first struck, the government, the HEA and the Department of Education and Skills, they put out something called the laptop loan scheme. So we're delighted this year that the government is funding this again for us. So myself and Ryan found out in the first presentation we did this morning that if you actually go to that web page, that it says it will be open shortly for the 21-22 academic year. So just bookmark that website and be sure that you apply for that. Ryan, did you want to speak about your experience of the laptop loan scheme? You're on mute there.
Sorry, I have a second mute switch just so I never get caught out the other way. Yeah, so I came through here and there. So I come from quite a poor background, to be honest. So when I came into college, I wasn't able to afford a laptop or anything like that, which became very difficult once the pandemic hit, because there was so much remote, there was so much distance learning. And last year they brought out this scheme, and it was been amazing. I was able to get a laptop with it. I know at least one of the other coordinators for Launchpad is as well as a rake of other people. Like, that's how common it is to get them. It's the most amazing thing. It's not a case of you need to do exactly this, but we're not going to be like, this has to be college work. Nothing else. Here is a laptop to use while you're in college. don't snap it in half, and do your best to get a good education. And the really good laptops too, I haven't had a single problem with it, and I've had it a year and a half now, and I do computer science, so I fairly push it devices to their limits just as part of what I do, and it's held up really well, so I've been very lucky to get it. But what I've heard from other students as well, and I said this in the last talk, is just that a lot of people didn't request it because that someone else needs it more, or I'm not sure if I qualify, so I won't apply. Don't do it that way at all, because there were a few spare laptops last year because people didn't apply. Absolutely go for it. Worst case scenario, you don't get it, doesn't put you out. It's like a 5-minute form, I think, from last year, what I can remember. It isn't that bad at all. Go for it. And if something can't be sorted out, they'll know that you're in a position and keep an eye out to you and reach out to you later. So just try that out. Same as all the other technology supports that are in the office and all the other regular supports. Is just give them a go. Go for it. You're never going to be left like, how dare you keep applying to all of these? We were going to give you one and nothing. It was the case, if you're eligible for something, you will get it. And so just always try.
That's great. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. That's great. So make sure you keep an eye out for the laptop loan scheme whenever it opens up. Okay, so make sure you do that. And then the technology transition program, you're getting information about that now as well too. I guess something that's really important for all of you is you would have registered with the university yesterday as a first year. So you now have an MU mail account. You have a Maynooth University email account. That is how the university and that is how MAP will communicate with you now that you are fully registered. But previous to this, we would have used your email address you supplied to the CAO. So if you haven't gotten anything about filling in the application for disability supports, please check your junk mail. Sometimes, unfortunately, we do end up there to your Gmail or Hotmail accounts and things like that. So just make sure that you check that as well. Okay. If you have any questions at all, you can email access.office@mu.ie, disability.office@mu.ie. There's a disability webpage as well too on the Maynooth University website. And I know that the MAP ambassadors are big into social media. So just make sure that during Launchpad you find out about all the communication channels, such as Twitter and all those other wonderful ones, to make sure that you keep up to speed with everything that's happening from a communication point of view. Is that all right? So I'm really ask you to please follow Ryan's advice, Ryan's experience of engaging in the technology supports and engaging with the office to let us know, how things are going and things like that there. Okay, so I'm going to unshare. Okay,